Just clicked record, no preparation, as usual. Um, it's actually past the time that I wanted to go to sleep. But so much has been happening. I made some videos on my old computer, and I can't access them now because that's broken down. So I'm just going to go ahead and record, or I might forget something. And this is a story worth remembering. So, I made a video about the soup kitchen earlier today when I went there for lunch. And this video is about what happened after lunch. And I do happen to know the Kingdom of Darkness. They were casting a bunch of spells against me again. And it had to be all of them. It had to be all of them. Since last night, they were just busy casting spells against me. And the first reason I know this is because I hardly think about my ex-narcissist at all. I don't think about him much. He's not on my mind. I've got so much other stuff going on. So when he is in my dream, it's witchcraft spells or curses. They're probably sitting in like circles and chanting, or I don't know how they do it, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And if they don't do that, they have to pay someone else to cast their magic spell. So I had a dream about the narcissist again. And it wasn't horrible, it wasn't like a nightmare, but it wasn't a good dream. It was just the narcissist ruining something again. So, I mean, it wasn't like an enjoyable dream, but it wasn't that bad. So, in this dream, we were going on a family vacation, and it was something like France. I think it was like France, but it could have been somewhere else. And this was a family vacation with our two children. And then it was supposed to be something good, I'm assuming, but it just kind of starts at the beginning of this trip like it was planned. And then we're on the boat. Like, this is the way we were getting to this other country, was on a boat, which is odd. And then the first thing I'm thinking is, like, we didn't have any clothes. I didn't have any clothes packed. I didn't have any shirts. I didn't have any or something, and I was concerned about this. And then I told him, and he didn't really seem to care. And then we were on the boat, and I remember going on the boat, and I remember there being a lot of sunlight. So there was like benches on this boat. It was kind of like small, like a little submarine or something. It was like made out of clay, and it had molded benches. Something weird, but it seemed normal in the dream. And so then I noticed it was kind of sunny. And then if you want to sleep or don't want the light in your eyes, then there were two levels. Then it would make sense to go to the lower level. So then I go down the steps, and the narcissist and our children go up the stairs. And so I was thinking, like, oh, as I went down, that it was not that bright. Like, you could see, but it was dimmer, and it would be nice to take a nap down there. I'm like, oh, this is good. But then when I looked, then the benches, like the couches, were not long enough to sleep comfortably on. So I would have had to be like bent up to lay on them. And then either they mentioned something to me, or I asked them, or I started to walk upstairs. And they said those ones were better. Now, it was really bright, which would not be very good to take a nap. But they said, oh, these benches up here are really big. And so I started to go up. And I don't even really remember looking at them, but the light was way too bright, and I wouldn't have liked that. But the benches you could sleep on in the lower level were too short. And then, like, I remember asking the kids, do you have shirts, or do you have, like, asking if they had clothes. They didn't have clothes either, and they didn't care. And then, like, in this dream, we didn't have a lot of money, like we didn't for most of our relationship. And so having to show up in, like, a place like France and purchase these things right away was not a good idea. And so I was, like, questioning, and like the narc like promised to make everything okay, and we would get, like, I don't remember what they said. It was just something I understood, like they didn't really care. They weren't concerned about something which is a big deal, basically going on a trip to a foreign country with nothing packed. Apparently they didn't care about. And then they're like, oh, we'll get it when we get there. Now, I don't remember the end of this dream, but it was just another thing that was ruined. It would have been a nice trip, but it was ruined. And then I wanted to go to the lower level. It was nice. It seemed like it would have been perfect because the amount of light down there. It was a low level light, and it would have been good for taking a nap. But then I do happen to know what would have happened. Maybe clothes would have been purchased, but it probably wouldn't have went so well. It would have cost a lot, or wouldn't have been able to find things that fit properly. So we can just assume what would have happened in that situation. So it was just another trip that was almost perfect, but destroyed, as usual. Um, so I started off with a lovely dream with my ex-narcissist, and then, oh, let me think here. What even happened? Just like I could tell things weren't happening properly. There was a bunch of witchcraft going on since I went to the soup kitchen. There was some problem. Like, I actually, right after I went, um, I hadn't hardly made any sales. I didn't have sales in days. And then I didn't really check I didn't check my email that evening. I thought I did for some reason, but I guess I didn't. And so then the next day I get back from the soup kitchen and it's late, and I realized I had 2 offers on items that I would have accepted. These items would have sold. But then they expired because they expire in 24 hours. So I didn't check them the night before. And then when I saw them the next evening, it was just past 24 hours. And I lost 2 sales that I actually could have used. I really could have used the money. And I did sell 2 other items, and one of them had a problem. And so that's what I knew. This is always warfare. If I only sell something like once or twice a week, and then to have 4 potential sales in one day, and then I miss half of them, is highly unusual and spiritual warfare. And all my product photos and things that I was going to list new things for eventually are on my computer that is broken down. And then this one, the one I'm using now, it's slow. It's Microsoft, so you can't have folders with a lot of images. Microsoft sucks. The Linux is a lot better, but probably the power supply went bad in this computer. It gets full of dog hair and dirt, and the power supply just can't handle it. But the computer itself was good. I think it's probably because it's in the server case, and actually, when my computer died, it was right after I got a restraining order filed. I have like no criminal record, but basically a church filed a restraining order against me. They were like afraid of me, and then they tried to get me, and they filed a restraining order. So it looked kind of bad because I had a Jesus hat on and I was just standing there at their family day. Anyways, then as soon as I get home, then my computer dies. So I figured this is also spiritual warfare. And let's see, what else happened? I kept stepping in piles of dog poop, and then I couldn't get it off my shoe, and then I'd step in another one. What else happened? Well, some other annoying things surely happened that I can't remember. And then I went to the soup kitchen, and someone poisoned my food, and then my bike was damaged. So, and then I went to the gym. So then I recorded the video, and then I went to the gym, and I didn't actually even have enough time to do what I needed there. Like, on the way to the gym, this is another thing. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. There was, like, a big windstorm, and it was really cold air. And it was, like, blowing towards me, so I was trying to pedal, and it was a lot harder than normal. So I was, like, going slow, and I was tired. So it was, like, worn out, and it was really windy, and it was cold. So I got this little beauty just in time, like, the day before. Like, it was snowing today, and the wind was blowing. And so then it took me a little bit, like probably a couple minutes longer to get to the gym, but that was okay. And then before I left the gym, I went to use the massage chair. And they're like, oh, the massage chairs are all used up, so you got a hydro massage ready. Because I actually like that better, but a lot of times I'll do both of them. Like, I'll do the chair and then the hydro. The hydro massage is really good on the back, like, I don't know what it is. It's like if I could just sit in that thing in a solid hour, I swear it might actually heal my back. But, and then a lot of times this thing, it's just so, like, it gets warm and it just feels nice. And then, like, I could just fall. This is actually a problem with this thing, because then I could actually just fall asleep in this. I wish they'd bring you a little blanket and then you could just fall asleep in the hydro massage after it's done. So it's not just me. Like, women tend to love this hydro massage, I have noticed. And men like the massage chairs more. This is what I have noticed. Women like the hydro massage better, and men like the massage chairs better. I'll use them both because I pay for the membership and I want to get my money's worth. But anyways, a lot of times, especially, look, I've seen both men and women, and I am guilty of this, is that it just, like, the machine is warm. It's like it feels nice, and then you're just really relaxed and ready to take a nap. So that, like, after the massage is over, because it basically, you're laying on something that just has water jets that go up and down, and then it goes along your back and down your legs and then back up. So a lot of times you just want to keep sitting on this machine for a little while and just, like, relax for a minute, not get up right away. I do this. I am guilty. I have fallen asleep on this before, and I'm not the only one, actually. So, other people will I've seen other women sitting on it, checking her phone after it was over, and then, I've seen another guy, like, laying on it and stuff too. And maybe I'm the very worst one. Maybe I'm the very worst, but this thing, like, I would just love to have a blanket and fall asleep on it. So, anyways, this time, like, as soon as it's over, it had only been a few seconds. Like, so I wasn't sitting on it a long time after, like I might do. I might sit on it an extra minute or something, and then I get up and go. Well, this time it just ended, and it was just a few seconds, and I was gonna get up. And then a man comes in, and he was probably my age. Maybe he was younger than me, but he came in and he had, like, it kind of sounded like someone that'd be a father that was mad at you. This is weird because I am in my 40s, but I was like the feeling of someone that was like a scolding father coming in to tell me what. When he came in and he's like, she's there still, or that they're still in there. They're still in there, like, just out of nowhere. Like, they're still in the thing, like with a loud, kind of rude voice to the employees, because he saw I was still sitting on the thing. And so then once he said that, I stood up. Then I got a tissue thing, and I went to blow my nose, and he was coming back, and I'm like, there you go. Like, I did the, like, there you go, to the chair, and I left. And then he goes back, and this is, like, it's only a few, like, 5 or 10 feet away from the reception desk, and he's like, she didn't clean it either. I'll just do it. And no, I didn't clean the machine. And a lot of times I don't, and neither do other people. But that wasn't even why. This guy just comes in here as soon as the machine is done. And he's like, she's still in there. So then I get up and I leave. And he's like, she didn't clean it either. Yeah, I left because you came in here. And he was acting like a male Karen. So I just left and I went out and I looked at the staff, like, just kind of weird. And then I was, they even thought it was weird. So I know this was just another witchcraft attack. And this is what, like, all of those demons and devils, like, trying to get me, the minor annoyances that they cause, like, I can only imagine how much time they had to sit chanting in a circle. Like, they probably stayed up all night doing this. They have to spend so much time and effort to do this. Like, at the amount of annoyance it caused me, and it did annoy me a little bit. Like, but, it wasn't that bad, honestly, for how much effort they have to spend to do this to you or to me. They have to, like, waste far more of their time than, and actually, then when I was, and then I stopped, and I talked to, like, there are people, like, at the reception desk, and they noticed me, and they know my name, and I said, you know anything, and I never talked to this one guy, but he knows who I am, he knows my name, and I said, do you know what spiritual warfare is? Because he kind of looked like he knows something, but some of them, actually, they know who I am, apparently, when they saw me. There's one guy, like, he saw me, well, he didn't look at me like that, but there's one guy there, and he recognized me, and he looked at me in a certain way, like he knows something I don't know. one day, like, as I was standing ready to, like, sign up for something at the machine, and he was there, then another man came in. He looked at me, and he was like, his eyes like, this person is there? They couldn't believe they saw me in Planet Fitness. So it's like, I don't know who I am, but here is somebody that just walked into Planet Fitness. They looked at me, they're like, oh my god, this person is in Planet Fitness. I'm like, okay. And and then I kind of figure maybe I'm a big deal in the spirit realm because people just randomly, like, the NPCs or stuff, they'll like give me the zombie stare. Like, I've seen people in their car as I bike past, and they look, and they're looking at me like like zombies or children of the corn, like they know something I don't know. And this man walked into Planet Fitness, and then he looked at me and he was like, oh my god, you're here? And then he didn't say anything, but like, I don't know, I've never seen this person before, but they knew who I was. And then they went around, and then they went to the man that works there, who, he'll give me like the wolf look, like, so that, if you know what, like, a way the wolf would look. And so he knows something I don't know. He went around, and then they hug each other and like, oh, long time no see, like they were great friends. And this was the guy who came around and like looked at me, and his eyes bugged out. And then they knew each other. I don't know what's going on. So this is a different employee. Like, you know what spiritual warfare is? And he said, he's maybe, like, yeah, or maybe, or, but like, kind of was the response. I don't remember what exactly he said. He said, the power was out earlier today. And I said, witches and warlocks have been casting spells against me all day. A lot of this stuff, and I just said like a couple sentences, and then I left. I said, they've been casting spells against me all day. And I said, this guy comes in, and she's like, she's still on the machine. And I said, I actually got off of it right away. I said, a lot of times I am in the machine a long time, but this time it just ended. I said that they've been doing stuff to me all day. And then I headed out. So he doesn't really understand spiritual warfare but he did understand the concept of it. And he said, oh, because maybe he did. He said the power was out here earlier. And I think that the narcs, the Kingdom of Darkness, also was using this against me. It's past when I wanted to go to bed, but I have to make this video now because something else will happen tomorrow, and that's a whole other video. So I can't get behind on this. Anyways, so then he might not have known, but he was letting me know that this was spiritual warfare. Something prompted him to say that, oh, the power went out here. Yeah, that power went out probably because I was on a bike and going, they were probably trying to stop me from going to the soup kitchen. It seemed like a showdown to stop me from getting food. And I understand a little bit more now as God reveals more to me. And God reveals more to me, but it's also like, I just go, I notice some things, I notice some more things, and then I get more information and piece it together. God has given us the ability to logic and reason and to understand our surroundings and to be able to assume certain things. Like, when we get more information, then we're like, oh, I see what's going on. I understand the bigger picture now. So anyways, I believe this man was probably prompted to, the power did go down. But him answering that actually was like a confirmation to me that this is also part of the enemy's attack. To stop me from going to the soup kitchen, like they tried to stop me from going to church before. That was another mission. So I'm thinking this is a mission now. And it's not a mission that I could have, I didn't have all the information back last year to handle this in the same way. Now I've learned a lot. And this is stuff that I'm using. So I'm assuming this is a mission now. And if I went a year ago, things probably would have turned out a lot differently because I just didn't know what I know now. It's kind of like you got to level up and go through certain trials. Then God gives you more discernment. Like, the more you level up, you get more discernment. You get extra powers. And so I wasn't leveled up right when I moved here. I knew certain things, but I didn't know the extent of the corruption, and I'm learning more and more. So, and how to handle certain things. I've had more experience, like you do this and this happens. So anyways, as I'm leaving, I should have had enough time to get to the soup kitchen. I ended up being like 10 or 15 minutes late by the time I lock up my bike, But that's not really late. It's just that's when they start serving the food. And then the food will run out at some point, so you don't want to be too late. And then it's only open for so long. So like once they start serving food, then it's an hour, and then you do need to leave so that they can clean up and lock up the building. So then it's still cold, it's quite windy, and then I'm going the other way, so it's not as bad to pedal. But then when I did turn some light, so like the street lights and things are swaying, and like and I turned down this one road, and my bike, I actually feel it, my bike is being blown like kind of to the side, not a whole bunch, but it was kind of fun actually. It was kind of fun, so I wasn't gonna tip over, but like the trash cans were blowing over. I actually lost my bike cup holder too. This got blown off and lost, and I was thinking I was gonna super glue the thing on, and I never got around to it. And I was about to do it, and then the windstorm, it blew it right off. It blew it right off, and it blew over my large trash can, and yeah, and it actually blew it a few feet over, and then it kept blowing, like my chair kept getting blown over. I don't know what else, but like people did not put their trash cans up yet, and so they were all like in the way, and then the narcissist, he did know what street I lived on. I did tell him what street I lived on. I did not tell him my address. So this is another thing. I didn't even need to tell him what street, because the other man I spoke to earlier, I told him what street I lived on. And he was friends with this narcissist. This is something to keep in mind. That they don't know where your house is, but they can still target you and cause trouble for you if they know what vicinity, if they know within like a few blocks of where you live, then they will cause trouble. And and bring it on, because the more you guys fuck with me, the more God is going to bless me. God is going to bless me mightily, because you have stolen everything, and so everything's going to get replaced with way more. This is always my mentality. Like I would always get the work done first, and then that way I could completely appreciate. I wouldn't want to eat like my ice cream or anything. I want to do all the work first, do all the chores, do all, and then I would sit down, and I would totally be able to enjoy it and not have to do anything after. So this is the way that I live my life. This has always been my philosophy since early childhood. So that's why I'm like, bring on all of it now, and I'm going to really enjoy whatever comes after this. So anyways, the guy, he knew what street I lived on. And then this narcissist knew about where I lived. Now, there's probably like 100 houses, so he doesn't know exactly where. And he kept trying to get my address, kept trying to get it. And so then what happens as I am leaving the gym, I'm going past my house, and then there are several blocks. There are several blocks on my street where the power lines are down, they are fallen, and they are swinging back and forth like vines. Or like you see what Tarzan or something. Like the power lines, they were like cut or something. The windstorms were so severe that they broke the power lines, and they were swaying back and forth right across the sidewalk I was biking on. So I guess that maybe this was an attempted murder. I don't know. It probably could have been. And I saw them, and then I was kind of going around them because there was a big windstorm, and the power lines were like broke right where they would meet the poles. So you know how the power lines go, and then there's a pole every so often. So then they were just swinging back and forth between the poles, and it was probably like at about this level. So I was timing when I went so that I would go when the power line was not coming towards me. So it's kind of like a video game. And then I looked at it, I'm like, there was like 10 different pieces of this power line, like as I was going back and forth, and then I would go past it, and then here's the next one. So yeah, this is an enemy attack. And when I was at the gym, they said the power was out earlier when he responded to me saying spiritual warfare. Well, yeah, these lines were down on my street, close to my house, right after the narcissist was notified of where I live. And this is the direction I would be going to get to the soup kitchen. And anyways, if you go and watch my previous video, I mentioned about karma. And this is some proof, as you will see it was daylight in that video. It gets dark at like 6 o'clock now. So you can tell that I am not making this up. Now it is the evening. And how I mentioned karma, then when I went to the soup kitchen this evening, now the narcissist was not there during lunchtime. There were other people there causing trouble for me, but the narcissist was not there. Now, I'm not an idiot. They all work together, and this is a coordinated attack. It's a plan. And so then I show up I'm probably like 15 minutes late by the time I get in the door after locking up my bike, and then I go to get my food. And then as I sit down, then the narcissist comes around, and he had just eaten too. He didn't even need any of this food, he said clearly. He said, I saw your bike out there, so I came in, and then he sits across from me. And of course making it clear, like saying several times, this is our date. This is our date, because we're at the soup kitchen, and he sat down, I sat down, then he sat down across from me and was eating. And he said, I just ate, but I came here because you were here. And this is funny what those narcissists do. And so he said, I'm trying not to spit in your food this time. I'm like, thank you. But anyways, there were the red flags and the signs, the things that I saw clearly before. So I understand this situation. And so now he was talking a little bit, I answered the questions. I didn't answer it right away. He tried to ask, like, while I'm taking a bite or right after I take a bite. So then I just, finished chewing, and I took my time to answer. So, and he was still speaking kind of quiet. I said, you got to speak up. He was speaking a little louder this time. So he did improve slightly. They were testing to see if they could get away with. So, I don't know, I can't, if this is a mission, I can't just abort it first if I'm supposed to do something. I don't know what God wants me to do. I never know. I just show up and then, oh yeah, pop quiz, like I said before. But anyways, and then he said shortly into the conversation that I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in karma. And then, I hear that. And then when I kept talking about spiritual things, and he's like doing all that crazy talk, just saying it's crazy talk. And then I was wearing my Jesus hat, but then I switched to this because of the cold weather. And he's like, that's a nice hat. And I said, thank you. Of course he likes his hat because the other one had Jesus on it, and this one doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. Of course he likes his hat. But I bet if I put God right here on the top, or God rules, that he wouldn't like it anymore. Anyways, but he can say, he can clearly say things like praise God. He says stuff like that. But that's why they can say it and they will say it, because they're not talking about the same God. In English, God can refer to ultimate creator God and also lesser gods, lesser demigods, when they say it. So that's why Christians in Arabic will also say Allah means the ultimate God. And it can't mean a lesser being. But in English, the word God can be ultimate God or lesser God. So if they're referring to the devil, they can also say God and mean this. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean when I say that. But anyways, so he said, I don't believe in karma. He says things that he wouldn't know if he wasn't working for the kingdom of darkness. This is one of the tells, that they do things that they know specifically bother me. And he mentioned things that had occurred during the lunchtime that he wasn't there. So how would he know? And he's like, how'd your day go? Because he said this in a certain way, because he knew they were behind trying to ruin my day. And I said, oh yes, some stuff happens. Stuff happens every day. and so I wasn't really, maybe he was expecting me to be more phased, because they've really tried to get me. They went after my bike, they downed power lines, they took power out. Fortunately, it was on the other side of the street. In my house, it seemed like the power was on, so if it went out, I was at the soup kitchen and I didn't know, and then it was restored. So anyways, Yeah, so they messed with my bike. They tried to poison my food. They sent like a storm again. Let's see. Oh, I stepped in some poop, and there was a little trouble with my sail. So I don't know. But God doesn't let you go through endure more than you can handle. So and stuff happens to me all the time. So this was not highly unusual. Some things that were spiritual warfare I didn't even recognize because I already step in dog poop sometimes, and sometimes there are storms. But this was the windiest day we had had. Just like the other thing, I know it's spiritual warfare because that was like a hurricane, and there was hail in the winter, or it wasn't winter. Then it was like June or something. I don't know. Um, I don't remember when, but it was hot outside, and then there was like just rain pouring down like really close together, and you could hardly see anything outside, and there was hail and swirling wind. So anyways, that was a spiritual attack. So I know that they can control the weather, and they do. And a transformer had actually been blown out, which took out the internet too. But let's see what. So I know actually it's their spiritual warfare is usually using technology. A lot of things that we think are magic, it's actually just technology that they don't tell us about. It's maybe classified, but it might even be something that you could look up yourself and do a little YouTube research. So anyways, so it's how'd your day go? Knowing very well they'd been plotting to ruin my day, to poison my food, to tamper with my bike, and to take out the power, and send a storm when I'm on a bike. And I said, some stuff happened, and stuff happens every day, And he's like, I don't believe in karma. And so I was telling him, stuff. And I always talk about the kingdom of darkness, and I always talk about God, and how, and I was saying, like, karma, and instead of people do stuff to me, then God takes revenge. And I kept saying, and I was saying how, like, the kingdom of darkness runs everything. They run everything, and they run all the churches. And he's like, why do you keep talking about us? I said, this is so funny. I said, keep in mind, I know this is a narcissist. He's like, what do you think a narcissist is? I said, demons in a human body. I didn't say Nephilim yet, but I might, if this comes up again, I might mention that. But anyways, I didn't say Nephilim, because that's actually what it really is. But then the Nephilims get possessed with demons. Oh, it's a Nephilim possessed with demons. I'm sorry, I just said demons because I wasn't. But he doesn't seem to. I don't think he knows like that I know. But he's trying to get. And so this time the tactic, like, so then I showed up again after like their little attacks. So then I'm just there again. And in the past, people are normally like surprised I actually showed up, or I'm back again. They're like, oh, I didn't expect you. Other people gave up and ran away. You're here still. Yep, that's right. Because I'm not afraid of anything. He said, so he was saying stuff like, basically insinuating that it's dangerous and there's dangerous people and wouldn't want you to be in a predicament or to be in a dangerous situation, and I'm not talking to you anymore. So, so basically what he kept saying, he was hinting at and alluding very obviously that I need to talk to him because he would protect me against dangerous criminals and gangsters that would want to harm me. No, God protects me. God doesn't let anything happen. And he said, I wouldn't want you to stop talking to me, not be talking to me anymore. And then something bad happens, or you get in a bad situation. He kept saying this. And so there was another, like, this was a taller black man was there. And so he was like, Kenny, that's the kind that you, or you find, are you attracted to that or something? And then, cause he wouldn't outright say he wanted to date me, but it's very clear, and this is not actually a romantic interest. This is a narcissist. What this means is they want to get you and they want to steal your life. It's not, it's not the same motivation. Okay. They're narcissists. So, I said, no, it's not you, it's anyone. I can't. So here I am speaking to a narcissist, and telling about God. Oh, and I told him like, oh, and the kingdom of darkness runs the churches, and I said God has the narcissist reading scripture and praising God in church. It's hilarious. It's all this stuff I get to tell the narcissist and teach the narcissist, and they were like, you would want my, they were alluding, you would want my protection so nothing bad happened to you. And I'm like, no, God protects me. I'm not afraid. And so apparently other people had been like, so there are people like even behind the counter, some of them are good and a couple of them might be enemies too, which I wasn't necessarily thinking about. But then what was said is he said I can manifest and speak things, and saying, are you nervous around me, or uh, are you afraid of me? And alluding that, and actually, it is kind of weird. Like, I don't know how to talk to people. Like, I've been by myself, or I don't know how to talk to them. I said, no, I'm not afraid of you. But, I kind of just wanted to eat. But see, it's the thing. I try not to be rude. I just wanted to eat my food and not talk to anybody. But, that's kind of weird. And then, so anyways, he was, like, pointing to the tall guy, too, again, and, like, how, I better watch out. It could be dangerous. And then, so, and then I said, I can only stay a few more minutes after this. So he's basically trying to threaten me, and I should be afraid, and I need to have his protection so nothing bad happens to me. And then we head outside, and then someone came to the door, and they said something about, like, 7 o'clock tomorrow, and I didn't know when they were open again, because it's Thanksgiving. So then I'm like, oh, I gotta, and he's like, let's go outside and talk, because he didn't want anyone to hear. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then as soon as we went out and we're on the steps, someone came out and mentioned something about like 7 o'clock the next night, and I thought they were closed. I said, oh, I gotta go ask them, and I run in. And then I run in, and I actually did want to go in to find out when the food is and where it is, because they actually do have somebody. It's not the normal soup kitchen, but somebody is actually cooking up burgers, and they're going to bring them there. And so I did want to find this out. And then I go to the counter, and there's a man that's like, was a server. And, if anyone's threatening you or, stuff like that, you can tell me too, or the other person. So I noticed it. And so he was basically, so he said, I noticed you were afraid. I said, I noticed you were afraid. And the narcissist kept trying to speak over me that I was afraid. So that made me think the server was working for the kingdom of darkness too, even though he looked like a nice man. Because he said, I noticed you were afraid. And, but if somebody is threatening you or something, you can come tell me. Or that, but he actually, like, he sounded like a nice person. But this could also be another one. The kingdom of darkness, their males are beta males. So it could have been one of these beta males that works for the kingdom of darkness. So, because that's actually how they act and why they would throw you off guard. Because they're soft-spoken and they seem nice. And it looks like they're helping or offering services to the community. So now I'm thinking this guy works for the kingdom of darkness, and if I have a problem with someone threatening me, I go to him. But see, he wouldn't look like a threat to anyone. And this is the type of person that, like, when they say something you disagree with, like, religiously, then, like, they just seem so nice that you wouldn't even want to say anything. And that's one of their enemy tactics, of a wolf in sheep's clothing. So anyways, I'm thinking he might be an enemy. And he said, if anyone's threatening you, you can come tell me or this other person in the office. And I said, no, but actually, and I said, so what I said is, I'm not afraid, but actually, I said, because they speak these spells, so I had to come out of agreement with that and set the record straight. Is that I am not afraid of the narcissist one bit, but I am not comfortable with small talk. I don't know how to do it, and I wanted to eat my food, so I wasn't really comfortable with this, because I don't like to just, like, he's like, this is our date, and he's like talking a bit and kind of quiet, talking about himself and asking me questions, like, I don't really like this. I don't like this. So then they're saying I was afraid. So he said, I noticed you're afraid. I said, I'm not afraid, but. So then instead of reporting the narcissist, who I guess I could have reported. It said there's a sign right there: no violence, no drugs or alcohol, and no sexual assault. Well, he drank a beer on the side of the soup kitchen. Um, he was trying to threaten me with violence, and he was technically trying to sexually assault me, but in a way like, let's go outside where they can't hear. So anyways, so then the person behind the counter is if somebody is threatening you, you can tell me. And it just like how I said it, like that. That's how they speak. It actually seems like they're on your side. This is how a lot of the male spirits are. And I said, I'm not afraid, but actually somebody messed with my bike earlier. You might want to check your camera. And I was saying how the gear shift, the numbers were broken off. And I said it was not, like it did fall over, but that's not where it would have hit the numbers on my shifter. Like somebody probably had to whack it hard with like something heavy, would be my assumption. And, you know, when I saw this, I knew it was an attack. And it might have been done in a way the cameras, because these spirits, it could either be an addict that doesn't know what's going on, or they do it in a concealed way where you can't really tell. So I'm thinking the narcissist probably bribed some people with drugs or alcohol or gave them a little bit of money. And then they went and tampered with the bikes. But apparently the other people there, the bikes get tampered with a lot. So I am not the first person for this to happen to. It's kind of like a prison from what I see on the prison shows where they mess with people and they mess with the newbies. I guess this goes on at the soup kitchen. It's the same spirits like on the prison shows. This is what's going on at the soup kitchen. So I'm imagining like the people, the lukewarms, or even people that they believe in God, are too afraid. They are too afraid to go to a church. They're too afraid. They leave the church. So this is what I'm going to get into. So they're obviously too afraid to go to the soup kitchen. And and I told him about the bikes being messed with. I said my bike was messed with, and I said I think somebody broke my my gear shifter. And so it still works, but the numbers are gone. And I said, which one is it? I said, the one, it's got the basket on the back. And so I told him that. I said, I'm not afraid, because I am not afraid. But I am not comfortable with small talk. There you go. Anyways, and so when we were sitting and eating, the narcissist was like, the same like the other day, but not as much. Is like, who are you? Who are you? I don't know who you are. Who are you? Your name is Jessica or Jennifer. You told me Jessica. I didn't. I said Jennifer. He probably knows this. And I actually told him my real name. Because the whole kingdom of darkness already knows it. When I went to the church, I had to fill out a form. It has my name and my address and my date of birth on it and how I'm single. And so that's why they used the love magic, because they saw that I was single on that. And so they already know. But they knew anyways. I'm not afraid to tell him that. The narcissist already knew. The narcissist was suing me, and the lawyer got my address. He's already stopped in front of my house. My parents are enemies. They know where I live. They know they had to know I was putting a roof on, because that was my ride to get to this house. So to see the house, to even move here, there was no way. They all knew, and it was all set up. I have nothing to hide. My name is Jennifer. My name is Jennifer, and my last name is Bishop. And when they hear that in the churches, they don't like it, because that name comes with authority. I didn't pick, well, maybe I did in the spirit. My name is Bishop. And your name is not Bishop. Your name is not a cool name. Like, my name basically means someone that watches over. I am an overseer. And it also has religious connotations, too. Like a bishop in the Catholic or Christian church. That's my name that God gave me. So, anyways, the narcissist might believe this is my name, might even be able to look it up. I told him my name, because they already have my name. They already have it. The lawyer had my name. My ex-narcissist has my name. They know where I live. They all have it. The whole town already knows. They already spy on me. So, I've nothing to be afraid of. And so I said, the narcissist, yeah, it's just me, and God protects me. I said, the whole kingdom of darkness tries to take me down. And they haven't been able to. They've been trying to destroy me for 2 years. They haven't been able to. I didn't tell this to the narcissist. And I told the narcissist how silly, like, the devils are running the churches, and they're reading scripture and praising God. Like, this was so funny. And he's like, praise God. but he will do certain things to look like he'll open a door, but then like he's being all shifty. He's like, wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you, without my protection. Like, I'm not afraid. God will protect me. And so, anyways, I'm trying to even remember. I'm surely gonna miss some of this. Like, so much stuff goes on. So then we're outside, and then he said, I want to go outside. Let's go outside for a minute. And so everything in my life is like a test or some situation that's already like destined to happen anyways. I'm like, okay, So then I go back in because somebody says, oh, something about 7 o'clock or something, and I wasn't really sure. I kind of heard part of it and I missed it. So I said, oh, I got to ask them and find out when they open again. And it turns out they are closed on Friday. So I'm going to try to get like 2 meals tomorrow. I'm going to try to get extra food. So when I went in, I told them about the bike. And then I came back out after I talked to him for a minute. I did not report the narcissist sexual harassment. I did not report the narcissist threatening me. So actually, when he said, and then the other tall black guy came out while he was there, and then he walked by. He might not have had any idea what was going on. He might not have had any idea. So the one guy was like, and he walked by because they knew each other, and he was trying to say, you need my protection. And probably this guy didn't even know what was going on. He was just someone that went to the soup kitchen, and actually like he was in the line behind me. So this man, the narcissist was saying I needed to be afraid of this man. He was behind me in the line, and then the woman that was a server, who I believe is a good person. My spiritual discernment tells me that she's probably a believer and she looks like a good person. And she was like saying like, oh, hello, and you look warm today, to this man. And he had if you want to tell me, he looked like a gangbanger, but he was wearing, it was a onesie, a flannel onesie nightgown that zips up, like what the toddlers wear. They sell them at Walmart now. So it was like pajamas, like this type of material, and then it had a zipper that went all the way down. So it was like comfortable pajamas that were completely non-threatening. And then this is the person that I believe the narcissist was. So you gotta watch out. You need my protection. And so then I went in, and I was actually trying to find out like when they were open again. And then they mentioned to me, if you need to report if someone's threatening to you. And I was like, no, but someone messed with my bike. And I said, you want to check the video. So I mentioned that. Then I came back out. And then the narcissist was like, I understand you're afraid of me, or you think I'm assaulting or threatening you. And I'm not going to bother you anymore. Just don't tell him in there. I'm not going to bother you anymore. And I was like, no, I'm not afraid of you. And so he thought I reported him, which I could have. He thought I reported him. Like, no, I'm not afraid of you. Because, see, that would have made him feel powerful if I reported him, apparently. There's a dog right here whining for attention. So I didn't report him. I said, no, actually, but I did tell him about my bike. Somebody messed with my bike. I said, somebody messed with my bike. And so he thought I reported him because he was trying to threaten me. This other guy was a threat, was going to get me. Whatever that is. But this guy, he might not have had any idea. Like, he just knew him, and so, like, he kind of walked towards him to say hello or something, and then walk away. But he might not have had any idea what the narcissist was saying. So I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But anyways, so I said, I'm not afraid of you. Because, see, he thought I reported him. I said, I'm not afraid of you, but I told him about my bike. And he said, oh, well, the bikes get messed with here all the time. He said, or if he didn't say it like that, I'm trying to remember, like, he said, oh, yeah, they're always messing with the bikes, or something like that. Because I'm trying to get the right, like, facial expression in the way he said it. Yeah, they're always messing, the bikes are always getting messed with, or something like that. And then I just immediately responded, yeah, they've been messing with these bikes a long time, and now I'm here, and they messed with my bike, and now, or something like, they've been messing with these bikes a long time, and now it's going to stop, because now I'm here, and they've messed with my bike. So this is what I mean, like, he doesn't believe in karma. He's going to see some karma, because apparently the other people that go to the soup kitchen, their bikes get messed with all the time. Because I saw another woman there, and to me, I think of as a as a good addict, as I mean, an addict that actually is not bothering people, and did get messed with. And then she said that there was karma, that she saw karma happen like 10 times over, and she was talking about that. And then I mentioned my karma, and then I said, or he was saying the bikes get messed with all the time. And basically, what I don't remember what exactly I said, but I just quickly responded, and I said they've been messing with these bikes a long time. Now it's going to stop. It's justice time, because now they messed with my bike, and so that's the end of the road. Like, now it's karma. So when if he sees God rendered justice, like if somebody messed with the bikes and now they are kicked out of the soup kitchen, or they are in trouble, then he will see karma is real. And I would not like, actually, for somebody that has to go there to eat to get kicked out because they got bribed to tamper with my bike. But that's just what's going to happen. That's not what I want to happen. That's what will happen when you have addicts. Like, it's not going to solve any problem to kick out the addicts. It's because they're not out, thinking, let me put poison in someone's food, or let me go damage somebody's bike and I can get kicked out. They are addicted, and then somebody else, a mastermind, comes, and then they dangle the drug or the alcohol or the money. And so, of course, they're going to take it. They're an addict. So that is the person that needs to be removed. And obviously, this is the narcissist. I mean, it's clear to see. So the narcissist is seeing that all of his efforts have failed. They're down power lines, power's out. All of this stuff they've tried, to little avail. And they now are threatening, like, oh, what am I going to get beat up or raped or something? No, I'm not. And I'm not afraid of you. Go ahead and try it. No, actually, God won't allow it. God won't allow it. But I said, oh, I just live alone. It's just me and my, he said, just you, your dogs, and your bike? Yep, just me. So the whole kingdom of darkness has tried to take me down for 2 years. And then, like, when we were outside, and he said, I know you're afraid of me or whatever. And he's like, just don't report me and I won't do it again. So he was actually, so then he, obviously showed his weakness, which is as soon as I told somebody what he was doing, he's like, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. Just don't tell him. Don't tell him. I won't do it again. It's like all talk, and there's nothing to back it up. Because they're liars. And I said, no, I didn't report you. I'm not afraid of you. I said, they are afraid of me. I said, the kingdom of darkness is afraid of me. So I didn't even report him. I said, and it was clear. I said, no, I told him somebody messed with my bike. Maybe other people, like, said stuff and it wasn't really believed. But I went in and they could see that they're speaking, oh, I'm so afraid. And then somebody has damaged my bike. Maybe that'll help me if they think I'm so afraid, as people think that I'm so pathetic, because I guess I just have that look to me. I look like I'm pathetic, apparently, or I'm a pushover or something, because I'm not out trying to take advantage of people. But I said, he was like, I know you're afraid of me, or what? These are spells they're trying to cross. And I said, I am not afraid of you. I said, when I was saying, like, the kingdom of darkness or something, like, they are afraid of me. And then there was, like, something going on. I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, this thing going on I'm going to go to. And he's trying to get, like, you'll be there this time? I said, I don't know. Yeah, I'll try to be there, but I might not, right away, because however I feel. And he was wanting to show up there because I was going to be there. He was like, maybe I won't go. And I said, it's just such a weird thing, because, like, he's going back and forth between trying to threaten me and then wanting to help me and wanting to give me, like, his little goodie bag that has a Pop-Tart in it, and it's just like, and he's like, and you don't have a phone? I'm like, nope. And it's how do you get in contact? And I said, I do have an email. And he said, if I don't drink for 10 days, said, if you don't drink for 10 days, I will give you my email. I'll give you my email. I said, I might not check it. I might not see it for a while. I'll give you my email if you don't drink for 10 days. Well, let's see the narcissist do that. Anyways, and then, and give me a chance. And give me a chance. I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking, he said, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I said, I can't, I'm not allowed to do that. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not allowed to do that. So the narcissist, this is how ridiculous, and they're like, how these beings are, like, little mischievous creatures, tried to threaten me, tried to sabotage, like, down the power lines and stuff, and then, like, I need his protection, and then he's like, if I don't drink for 10 days, you'll give me your email. Like, sure, if you don't drink for 10 days, I'll give you my email. And he said, and give me a chance. I said, what are you talking about? I said, you know what I mean. I'm like, no. So anyways, so they threaten you, like, your safety, and then they're like, you're gonna give me a chance to go on a date with me. Like, like, how stupid. How stupid. And of course, they are narcissists. They don't really want to legitimately date you. They want another victim. They want to get some supply. They want to get us, and then because, like, who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Jessica or Jennifer. I don't know. Who are you? Who are you? I can't tell who you are. Well, probably because everybody else has spirits, and you see those spirits in the way they're behaving. But I also think, like, so they're not going to see spirits, but at the same time, like, God veils us too. So it could be that, like, God is, like, I think he can see the light, but maybe not all of it. So I don't know what exactly God is showing him. To where we are veiled so that we go through certain experiences. The narcissists are also kind of veiled, like, because I know that my ex-narcissist that I was actually in a relationship with, like, I don't think he could see all of the light until the end, and then it was too much for him to bear. So part of that had to be hidden. That had to be hidden from him, at least to some extent, or he couldn't have handled to be in the same room with me. But so I don't know. I know he sees something. When he says, who are you? I don't know who you are. God could be hiding, because I don't know who exactly I am. Apparently I'm someone, because if a stranger walks into the gym and looks at me like, I can't believe this person is here. Well, apparently I'm somebody that no, I have no idea. I've never seen this person before. So this is weird. Is this a simulation? Narcissist, like, you need my protection. Look at this dangerous criminal right here. I would hate for if you weren't talking to me and I couldn't protect you. I couldn't protect you. You give me a chance? So what are you talking about? You give me a chance? They might be recorded, so they don't want to say too much, Would you give me a chance? I said, what are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Well, I've already said no. I said, do you need... actually, the other day, he was like, let me have a hug. I said, do you need a hug? It's funny, like, this weird thing with the narcissist. I already said, I'm not allowed to get in a relationship, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to get in a relationship. That, I get to preach to the narcissist and tell him, like, more things about God and prove to them that I am not afraid of them. And actually, maybe when they see my situation and then they see my restoration, then that'll be a proof to them that God is real. Because, like, they can say it, but they don't believe it. And they're not talking about our God. They are talking about the devil. Anyways, that happened. And then after, I came home and I fed my dogs, and I did find an item that I sold, and I'm going to try to get up and make it to this Thanksgiving meal. Actually, I have to make it because a lot of places are going to be closed anyway, so. And it's kind of a big deal. So, after I'm done recording this video, I am going, and I could have just rebuked the narcissist. I could cast out But they would be right back because they have their own bodies. This is Nephilims, and if there are demons in the Nephilim body, they're allowed to come back. Um, so I don't know, like, if I cast him out, or if I just stop talking to this narcissist, then I would be more protected, maybe. But God protects me anyways. But then, if there's anything I could do that could potentially help change them, then I would lose that opportunity. If we're supposed to be fishers of men and bringing these people to repentance, and they say if they are not sons of God, which it's unisex, if they're not the children of God, they're not the direct creations of God, we're supposed to be out there doing what we can to help them repent and join the kingdom. So the Israelites were the children of God, and that doesn't mean you're from Israel. They've messed all this up. The Rothschilds purchased and made Israel. It was a counterfeit Israel. This is my belief on this. And the real Israelites are all over in every country, scattered, both genders. A lot of the stuff, English has different genders, and the original language is referred to both. So they use this just to throw us off course, to think that people in Israel are the chosen ones, and no, the Israelites are the believers. And so, in a world overrun with Nephilim thousands of years ago, then God had to pick a people because the whole world was corrupt. But now we are scattered, and spiritually we could be the bloodline of Jesus. When they say the blood of Christ, it could also be like something that about artificial insemination. The narcissists already use that. The narcissists already use artificial insemination. But, like, if you have a Jezebel parent, then they're already out cheating, and they could have been cheating with somebody who thought they were in a relationship, and they were actually the bloodline of Jesus. And so you have the chosen ones actually genetically in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Was what that, but when it says they are purchased with the blood of Christ, this is some kind of weird thing. But I think, if anything, what that actually means, and I've had some spiritual, I would receive certain confirmations in the spirit when people that knew things, the way they would respond would confirm to me if I was on the right track. And I said, is genetically they're the like the offspring, or like they're in the lineage of Jesus. That's what this means. And it was confirmed to me. That's what this means. And so when they have Ahab and Jezebel parents, well, Ahab wasn't the father. Ahab wasn't the donor. And actually, Jezebel will be playing everybody. So Jezebel would be with somebody who was a good person and thought that they were together. And then she would run off and leave once she was pregnant and go stay with Ahab or someone else instead. And so they are the bloodline of Jesus Christ, is from the best. This has been confirmed to me. So anyways, they are alive and they are on the earth. And then, of course, they are not like purebred, but that's what that actually means. And so I'm waiting for my restoration. I've got to try to make it to this very important event. I don't know how my restoration is going to come about. They were giving out the blankets, and they were nice to give them out. I felt bad that more people didn't take them. There was a lot of people there, and they didn't even care about the blankets. You would think, like, just if someone wasn't an addict, just out of respect, like if somebody is giving out free stuff, and they put their effort into making it, even if you don't want it, just to be polite, you go and take it. But that's the thing. When you have addicts and people that are just, like, in that situation, mentally, they don't necessarily have, like, some do, but like, there's just a certain, like, capacity that you have for compassion that is lacking. Like, mentally, if you're not functioning 100%, then, like, they didn't even think to go and get the free blankets, even though they were packed. Like, it didn't occur to them. So it wasn't even necessarily trying to be rude. But when I walked by and I'm like, well, I don't celebrate Christmas. And then they dug through and they found they found that one there that didn't have any Santa Claus on it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. But then I looked at it, and it was made by the St. Paul Church. St. Paul. That's a story for another day. It's not a good way to say hello, to get into that. So, let's see what else. Oh, I got my item to ship, and fed my dogs, and I just been kind of worn out, and I had a guitar song that I improved a little bit. Hopefully it's improved and I got a little better at it, but I just didn't really have the energy to play it much, and I don't have the time to record a new video now, but maybe in a few days I'll get around to it. It's just been really cold, and I'm alone, and I have this like court case coming up, and I need to find some way to get there, and I don't have a vehicle, and I don't know how this is going to play out. I hope my restoration comes soon. Maybe a helper. Why doesn't a helper arrive? A helper arrive that could drive me to Columbus, because I really don't want to get a rental car from the enemy. I haven't driven in like a year now. And once again, like I didn't have a car all these years. Then I start driving, then after a while, then I'm pretty good at it again. And now I haven't had a car again. And so then after all this time, oh, I'll pay for a rental car that you can drive. And it's like, yeah, that's nice. I haven't driven in a year, and now that it's snowing, drive to some place more than 2 hours away that you've never been to, and you don't have GPS or a cell phone. Like, that's perfectly fine. And if you're late, then you lose your case. That's great. That's what I mean. Like, and this is probably all a plan, too. But I also just don't want to accept help from the enemy. That's the thing, like, if you haven't driven a car in a year, are you really that comfortable to just take a two and a half hour long trip and then arrive at court and know where to park and not get in an accident, and it's probably snowing? And it's like, I'll do whatever God calls me to do, but, at least don't have the enemy provide the vehicle. Like, can't somebody that actually wants to help do it? I don't understand this. Like, I had a vehicle, and that was a whole scheme plot against me to make sure. Like, I picked out one that was almost the same, but that was stupid to go get that car. It was so far away. Yeah, maybe it was, but then the one that was almost the same they found was a dud with engine trouble. So that's what I mean. It's always planned. So anyways, I was told through channeling several times that I guess I'm supposed to get like, I forget what it's like, some really big car, and it costs like $80,000. It costs more than my house. It's a car that costs more than my house, but it's like something Z71 or something. It's like some SUV that has 3 rows in it. I could put a dog in each row. It's like the size of my big van, but it has seats that can fold down. I'm like, actually, that is the equivalent of my car if it was new. And it has and I'd have to get the heated seat. I said, actually, I like the look of my van better, but, the heated seat is a big sell, and having fold down seats, it'd be easier to hook the dogs in. Because right now, I can't even take them to the vet if I wanted to. I mean, just everything has been sabotaged. But maybe God did that too, because I was almost to the point where I was going to vaccinate them just to be a good citizen. And I never got that opportunity. So, and I never wanted to. So maybe that'll be taken care of by the time I actually have a chance. Yeah, I don't know. So the narcissist tried to get me. The narcissist tried to threaten me. And the narcissist tried to say I was afraid. I'm like, I'm not afraid. And they thought I went in and reported them for being afraid. I'm like, no. But I did tell them about my bike. And so then they're concerned because like, they mess with people's bikes. Well, maybe that's going to stop now. Maybe you're not going to be messing with people's bikes anymore. And if somebody is caught, because they have a camera on the bikes, if somebody was bribed to knock my bike over and maybe hit my shifter with a heavy metal object, then they are on the video and will be banned from the soup kitchen. But I got another good meal, and I got more food, and I got another meal for my dogs. And they came by at the end, and they had a plate with like wraps and sandwiches, and I got a turkey sandwich too. Put it in my fridge. So if I don't have any food, like, in a couple days, and then I can probably eat it then. That was just really, like, there are some, actually, it seems like there are some believers behind that counter serving food. Like, and I saw one woman at the other side today, and she was a good person, so yeah, other stuff surely happened, which I can't remember. But the narcissist tried to take me down, and the narcissist failed. And the narcissist is going to fail again. Or actually, it was weird. So there's another thing I just remember. Is they were like, if you keep like doing this, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. They were saying that too. Like they're just going, like you see, like going like this. This is like their logical thinking and trying to get me. Like, you think I'm an idiot? You keep doing this, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm like, okay, that's your choice. I said, that's your choice. And then, of course, they talk to me again, like a few seconds later, because they want to. They're just trying to get me. They try something, that doesn't work. They try the whole other thing. That doesn't work. It's not going to work. So, I don't know. This is maybe kind of fun, because I don't know. I don't know if this is fun. But I'm not allowed to do much. So, I go out just to do stuff, and to be out, so I'm not sitting at home. And I ended up being out as long as I would if I was at a job. To the point where if I ever do get restored, I will have no desire to leave my house again, apparently. But, yeah, they're like, you need my protection. This person might, well, if you were in a bad, dangerous situation and you didn't have me to protect you, the Kingdom of Darkness has been trying to take me down for 2 years, and I'm just by myself, and they haven't been able to. And I said, they're afraid of me. And then they could offer me protection. Like, no, God protects me. And then they're like, would you give me a chance? Would you give me a chance? You know what I mean. Like, to go on a date. They won't say it. I think they know they're being recorded in that sexual assault. So they're not saying something if they get caught on camera that they'll get in trouble for. They probably have been in trouble for that before, knowing what. So they've learned a few things. And then, so I think maybe God is like using this to ease me into like just having a conversation with someone again. And when I do talk to people, I can just jump into the spiritual stuff. And that might be a little off-putting, but what else is there of importance to talk about? Nothing, really. And luckily, the few cases where I have really had a good conversation with somebody, I meet with them once. But then, like, they actually, like, we gained something. Like, I learned something. They tell me something. I learn about their experience, or they give me a piece of information that I add to my like what do you say? Not my story, but like I find something out that like connects other information that I have, and then it makes sense, and then I learn more, and then I can go back and look at what's happened in the past and understand more about who was behind what and why they did this. That's what I'm trying to say here. And then I talk to them and I give them information they need to help them feel better. But not everybody wants to hear about religion. And like, you got to kind of ease it in with the small talk. So this is like a lesson for me on how to actually talk to somebody about stuff that's not important. And so I kind of was doing that. So maybe God is actually using the narcissist to teach me. Like, the narcissist sat across me, like, we're having, this is our date. And I said, our day? I said, is this our day? And so what is the narcissist teaching me how to go on a date? I don't know. But I already told that narcissist. So it's a funny thing, is they are going to keep trying to get me. They're like, who are you? I don't know who you are. I don't know. Who are you? And so there's something. They are intrigued. So they keep coming. I'm just there. And they won't leave me alone. They keep coming. And so they keep coming to me, and then I just keep telling them more about God and how, if somebody tries to mess with me, then God is going to take revenge for me. And I just get to teach them more about religion. They come and try to get me, and I just tell them more about God. And then after a while, they're like, you got talking all this crazy stuff. And then but I just keep talking about it. But they can't leave. They have to keep coming back. Okay, I gotta go to bed at some point. So this is just what happened that evening. And then I just spent an hour making. I can't make any of this up. How could I make this up? I just spoke for like an hour and 15 minutes. I basically just wrote a book. So I didn't make this up. I'm just trying to remember what happened today. That's my life. So I'll probably have another one of these for tomorrow. Thanks for watching. God bless you.